Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to take you through a speed build, a little step-by-step on how to create this apothecary. And this apothecary is inspired by one of my favorite TV shows, Schitt's Creek, and I am dressed as none other than David Rose. I did my best job to try to replicate his immaculate style, and I put together this little apothecary. And what I really want to focus on is showing you how to do the different levels and different layering that you see in a lot of other people's islands. And it was a really fun process. And I loved doing this speed build because I'd never done anything like this before. This is the biggest build so far that I've ever done, and I'm really, really excited with how it all came together. So what I'm gonna be showing you is how to put some of these items in place, how to figure out, take you through my thought process. I put it all into a speed build so that I can talk through what I was thinking and what my vision was. So please join me while I put together this really cute apothecary. All right, so hopping right into this speed build, I created this cube, and going back on it, I really wish I knew how big this cube was, but it's big enough. And then I have all of these panels and all of these items that I've been collecting over the last few weeks that I wanted to place in my apothecary. Things that I thought maybe would look good, things that were maybe interesting. But first I had to transform myself into David Rose, because who else would put together a Schitt's Creek style apothecary, none other than David Rose himself. So right away put on my island designer cap, and I did a lot with this wood custom design, and I will try to link everything that I used down in the notes below. So if you want to do something like this, you'll have access to the codes that I was using. The first thing that I did was make my little porch area. I felt like I wanted to have like a step up or just something that I can place items outside of the apothecary. And then I made where I think my doorway would be. And I just wanted it to be in the center. So I guess you can kind of see like how many squares big my square was. But I wanted to create enough space to have these panels that simulate the outside of the apothecary. And I really like this brick pattern. I use it all over my island. I've used it in the last build that I did, which was the boardwalk, and I really like it. I like how it looks a lot, and I like the windows that come with it. Then the next thing that I wanted to do was start making the upper side of the apothecary, or the upstairs. So this is where you start to get that illusion of that layering or that different levels. So I just started plunking the patterns down of where I wanted to place my items. I'm going to save you from watching me put paths down and just show you the finished product here. So everywhere that there's wood, there's going to be an item, and this is just your normal stall. It's a DIY. We have it in the game, and I've gone ahead and customized it using that same brick as the roof tiles. So I wanted to simulate a roof, and I felt like the slope of the stalls looked really good. So I made a few of those to put around, and I also left it so that there's a space in between, because I wanted to place items in between. I didn't want to have just a wall of stalls. And then I started putting some items down that I thought that would look good, and I'm using the rule of putting the smaller items in the front and the bigger items in the back. then I accidentally put this here and I thought it looked really good. And I was like, oh, if only I had a few more of those, maybe I would have put them there. But my vision had them off the side. I had some other plans for what would be behind the front as well. But, you know, if you had a larger area, you could put so many other things up here and really clutter it up. And then along the back, I also was going to put some panels, and then my expensive item was my antique desk. So I wanted to have these align the upstairs, and I'm going to put items up there. And so you're going to really see how this clutters up really easily up here. And so I just placed all the panels. Then I started kind of putting interesting items. So I have my plant and I have my guitar, and I thought it would be super cute if I had them kind of pulled out one on each side. I loved how that looked. But then sadly, when I started to push the desk back, my dreams were dashed, and so I had to put them back. But I left this part in so that you could see what my vision was before and appreciate it the way that I was appreciating it. And so I also tried it on this side, and again, my dreams were dashed. But just know that I had dreams, that they were peeking out behind the side. But all in all, I really love how this upstairs came together. I love the panels. I have the brick walls on the side to kind of simulate that outside coming in with the windows. And then I just started putting items up here. So again, bigger items behind smaller items so that you can see them when you're walking by. And I really didn't have a rhyme or reason for different things that I put along the back. I was really going for just something interesting. And I also used lamps in this build too, because I thought that during nighttime, it would look really nice if there were some sources of light within the apothecary. So I just dotted those around. I have one downstairs that you'll see that I put in later. And I also put a record player, and what else would I put on there but stale cupcakes? I actually have 2 record players in here, and I just love stale cupcakes. It's my favorite song. What can I say? I play it everywhere, and it's just so nice. So I gone ahead, started putting more things. Again, I didn't really have a rhyme or reason. I was just going for bigger items in back of smaller items so that you can see. And I do end up moving some things around as the build progresses. And I just was looking for, again, items that were interesting to look at. Like the shaved ice machine is a super underrated item. It's so interesting and it moves. I think I'm going to move it here in a second. Yeah, it spins around. I don't know. I love it. I think the colors are super cool as well. It's just a really unique item. Now that I have everything in place up here, I'm going to start hollowing this out just like that. So this is going to be the inside of the apothecary. And I went back and forth with trying to line the inside, you'll see, with panels. I end up doing the back wall. I had some spare panels because I was going to experiment with having them along the sides. It looked fine, but in my mind, it could have looked a little bit better. As you can see, the simple panel that I have is a white lined one. I think if it was the wood lined one, it would probably look a little bit better. But also I was thinking that I was trying to conserve a little bit of space as well. If I have the panels along the side of the build as well, it takes up a little bit of space. So in the end, I don't mind having the walls bare. I could also find some other items to put along the side. So this was my idea for the back of the entrance, was adding the jail bars. And I love using jail bars as like room dividers. I think it adds so much, and to me simulates those old industrial looking building like windows, you know, those little teeny tiny rectangle ones. I just thought it was so cool, and I was just imagining like light streaming through in the morning or in the afternoon, and I just love how this looks. I also collected some topiaries because I felt like this would look so cute with some more greenery, and I really loved the Bunny Day items that we got this year, specifically these topiaries. They are so cute, and I just love having them, and I thought they would look so good here. And I also wanted to incorporate a chair because I want my villagers to hang out here. I want them to come in. I want them to have a seat outside the apothecary. So I wanted to put a cute chair on the outside in hopes that I will attract them to hang out here. And then I also put like a little dress outside as well. I kind of struggle with the placement of it. I just felt like, you know, normal little apothecaries or curio kind of shops, you always have like that cottagecore kind of dress sitting outside. And now I start getting into the placement of things inside. And just like the upstairs, I was just going for things that I felt were interesting to look at. What would make an apothecary? I also didn't want to clutter it up too much because I wanted people and my villagers to be able to have access to it and walk around and enjoy the space and not necessarily have just a space that's not accessible. Clutter is important, but also I want to go in here and take pictures or just hang out. So I have Papa Gnome here. He is our shopkeep. That seems to be a running theme on my island when I build little shops or things like that. I'll put the little gnomes in there as my shopkeepers. I do like the idea of different villagers in my island being a shopkeep, but then I think if those villagers were to move away, then if I really like the item, like for example, if Meringue moved away and the boardwalk is her and Tia's, and if they left, then I'm left with a boardwalk and no Meringue or Tia. So I don't know, food for thought. I just like to use the gnomes and I think they're super cute. I have the red one and the yellow one and I love them both. And I also have another record player playing Stale Cupcakes. You saw that a second ago. And I just started putting more and more little things in here. I love the little succulent. That's a DIY. If you weren't aware, all you have to do is find a can and hopefully have that DIY. And I have that elevated up on this little stool. The stools are great. They're great little tables. I use them a lot to put things on, and I think it looks super cute. So that's pretty much the build. I place one more lamp down, and with that, we'll go to the regular speed version for my final thoughts and a walkthrough. So I am so pleased with this. We've used all of the items. We've cleared the beach. I had this whole thing full of items, and it's so awesome to see that all of them fit in here. So on the outside of our apothecary, we are met by two beautiful bunny topiaries. We have a spinning wheel. We have a little seat. Hopefully my villagers will hang out and take advantage of sitting outside the apothecary. We have a beautiful gumball machine and a dress just greeting you as you come in. We've used the jail bars to add a little bit more height and a little bit more depth and a little bit more texture and a little bit more interest to our apothecary. And we have these beautiful panels. I will try to leave all of the codes for this in the description box. If you want to make your own apothecaries, I will share the codes that I have. I didn't make these. They were made by people far more talented than myself. So I will link those down below as well. We have lots of plants. We're a very plant-friendly apothecary for sure, especially with the panels that we have. We have some tall plants in the back there. We have some succulents, which is a DIY. If you didn't know that, it's a DIY item. You just need a can. So get your fishing poles out and start fishing in that garbage. We have some cacti. We have some music players. We have two music players. We have one downstairs here and we have one upstairs on the shelving that we have above us. We have an eclectic array of little items dotting the entire top layer of our apothecary and stalls lining both sides to simulate a roof. We have desks in the back that hold up more of our apothecary items. And then of course we have Papa Gnome here, hanging out, having a cup of coffee here to greet you. But yeah, this is our apothecary, inspired by David Rose and Schitt's Creek, and I'm pleased. I love it. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. I love reading your comments. I love interacting with everybody. My last few videos have gotten so many folks excited and talking to me about their islands and their villagers. And yeah, thanks again so much for watching my video. If you liked it, please give me a thumbs up. Let me know what you're building on your island. I'm super curious. Follow my Instagram and tag me in stuff that you're making. I would love to see it. I'd love to see what people are making. With that, I'll leave you with some images of our apothecary, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!